Begin with the feet hip-width apart and shifting your weight to one side. We pick up the toes of the unweighted foot and stretch them. One way and then the other way. Do this 3 times, both sides. Make sure you stretch all of the toes, from the big toes to the small toes. Swap sides when you've done your 3. And however feels right for you is correct. So there's no real exact way of stretching your toes here. It's pretty simple and straightforward. Just do what feels good. And just make sure that you get all of the toes stretched here. And once you've done your 3 both sides, we come to a bow and arrow stance. And here you shift your weight so you're mainly on the front, and you should feel the stretch in your hip. Then you shift your weight back so it's mainly on the back leg, maybe about 60-40. You should feel your ankle of the back foot. Then you shift your weight so it's fully on the back leg, and you straighten the front leg, bend forward and stretch. You repeat this cycle, so 60-40 on the front leg. If you don't feel the hip here, try to have them more sunk, so you're lower to the ground. 60-40 on the back leg, feeling the back ankle. Then fully on the back leg, straighten the front leg and stretch, bend forward. One more time, 60-40 on the front leg, feeling the hip. Should be a deep stretch in the hip here. Then 60-40 on the back leg, feeling the back ankle. And then fully on the back leg, straightening the front leg and bending forward. The toes of the front leg come off the ground in this instance. And then we swap sides. So the other foot forward and the other foot back. 60-40 weight distribution on the front leg, feeling the hip. Then 60-40 weight distribution on the back leg, feeling the stretch on the back ankle. And then fully on the back leg, stretching that front leg. And again, 60-40 on the front leg, feeling the stretch in the hip. Then 60-40 on the back leg. When you do a bow and arrow stance, it's important to engage how far is too far. You don't want to overstretch yourself here. So stay within the comfort limit, what feels comfortable, and where you can still find elasticity in between the movement. For instance, if you go too far forward or too deeply, and it just becomes too stiff moving to the back leg, then you've kind of lost that elasticity. You don't want that. You still want to be within a comfortable range of movement. Deepening the hip stretches now, we shift weight to one side, turn the feet so they're at 90 degrees to each other, and turn the hips so they're moving towards the front. But don't put too much pressure on your knees here. Next, we turn the unweighted foot 180 degrees and we shift all our weight to it, still keeping the front foot where it is and turning towards the back with our hips. You should feel this stretch in the back of your lumbar region. So, we repeat this 3 times on each side. So we're on the front leg, feet 90 degrees, and hips turning towards the front. Then we're on the back leg, so the feet are like doing a T, letter T, and we're turning towards the back. And again on the front leg, feet 90 degrees and hips are turning towards the front. Keep it gentle, don't push too hard. And again, we've got the T in the feet, and we're moving the hips towards the side and the back wall as much as we can. Swap sides. Feet 90 degrees. Trying to move those hips to the front wall. You might only have a turn of about 10 degrees, 15 degrees, that's fine. Later on this will increase to 45 and beyond. And then on the back foot with the T. And then again on the front foot with the 90 degrees. And try not to twist your spine here. So it's more about turning from your hips. That's what causes the stretch in your lumbar region. So just trying to keep the hip sockets and the shoulder sockets in a straight line together throughout this. So on the back foot and trying to turn to the back wall. And when we've done that, we go into deeper stretches. So we can go into a deep horse stance, however feels comfortable. So as wide as possible. Your feet can be at 45 degrees or they can be facing front, like how I've got. And we just take a few breaths over here. Then we shift to one leg, to one side, whichever feels comfortable, right for you. And try to stay as low as you were in the horse stance. Do not straighten the straight leg completely. You don't want it locked. And then back in the horse stance, just feeling what's tense and what needs to be released here and trying to do that. And then shifting your weight to the other side without fully straightening the back leg or the straightened leg. So the weight shift, you want to try to make it kind of as much on the one side, weighted side as you can, but it's never going to be 100% on one side. But it can be close. You can do a variation when you bring your torso down so it's more parallel to the ground, and you can bring your arms to the side. So still in horse stance in between and having your arms parallel to the ground. And then shifting to one side, arms still parallel to the ground and your torso parallel to the ground, just to have a bit of a deeper expression of this. So doing a few rounds of this stretch, you'll easily find what will be your comfortable range or width of horse stance. And you can either do it like that, really physical, or you can do it with a less wide stance and tune more into the subtleties of your body. When you're in a more relaxed, narrower stance, it's easier to tune into the energies that are in your body and to the subtle tension that occurs when you're weighted on one side or the other or in between. So what you can do in this instance, what I'm doing here is just feeling if any tension arises when you shift from one leg to another and trying to release that tension as it occurs or after it's occurred, and eventually try to release the tension before it's occurred. So just move slow and just tune into your hips, your thighs, your buttocks, and try to release any subtle tension that might pop up. This will lead to a smoother transition from one leg to another and eventually a fully energetic transition, so you're just moving with the energy and the fluids inside your body. So have fun with these leg stretches and enjoy yourself.